Hi, I'm Tracy Gordan. I'm the Register of Wills here in Philadelphia, PA.
Hello, I'm Sharon Wilson. I'm the solicitor at the Philadelphia Register of Wills.
We're here to watch Soul Food, and you're going to see how the Register reacts.
I felt that Terry and Miles could pay for everything, and then maybe we could pay you all back in installments or something.
Don't you start running that game on me again. What, do you expect me to bail Lem out of jail, too?
Now, come on, Terry. Lem doesn't have anything to do with this, okay?
How we can pay for Mama's bills is by selling the big house.
First of all, Soul Food is a perfect example of why it is important to plan your estate.
As an attorney in private practice, I would see this type of family, the one where there are those who take and those who give.
Of course, this is a movie, but the executor, who was the sister that had most of the money, has the authority to decide whether or not it would be in the best interest of the estate to sell the property.
People often have emotional attachments to material things, like a house. And it's not unusual for the attachment to be strongest with those who actually aren't paying the bills.
A lot of times people want a lot to say with estates, but they're not contributing to the upkeep of the estate.
How we can pay for Mama's bills is by selling the big house.
What?
We are not selling the house.
Mama and Daddy saved their whole life for that house, Terry.
We can't even agree on anything as small as Sunday dinners.
You actually need to communicate with your family about what you want to happen. It was obvious that some of the family members knew what Big Mama's vision was, and Terry either didn't know or didn't buy into it.
Nobody's paying for the taxes or the utilities except me. And now we can finally put Uncle Pete in a home like we've been talking about for years.
We are not putting Uncle Pete in a home. Mama would kill us.
People always think assets are only physical things, like a house or a car. But minor children also are part of your assets. And also in this case, a disabled relative. Big Mama was taking care of that disabled relative. You need to make sure you make a will to let their family know who is going to be the person that you feel comfortable with that is going to continue that care.
I'm selling the house.
You're not selling the house.
I am the guardian of her estate. That means I make the decisions.
Come on now, Terry, listen to what they're saying, all right? Your mama worked hard to keep that house in the family, for everyone, for you and your family.
Oh, the family!
Big Mama did leave the older sister, the executor, and in her case, the guardian over the estate. And yes, she does have the right to execute the will the way Big Mama said, period. Some members, family members may or may not agree with it, but we here in the state of Pennsylvania, the city of Philadelphia, have to abide by what the will says.
Well, you know, if you're the Big Mama of the family and you die without a will, what you will see likely is family chaos. So you have to see the family without you there and be realistic about what could happen when you're not there.
The family, I let the family in my house. You know what? The family is my husband.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have let Faith back in the family. I'm sorry. Some things you do are just one and done. No, can't do it. Can't do
What are you
it.
going to say, huh?
Terry,
Terry, what?
can we talk about this?
Can we talk about what?
When we conduct these citation hearings, there are no butcher knives pulled out. But words hurt. And when I see these families bringing in police records, drug rehabilitation records, they bring in everything. And it's sometimes heartbreaking.
It's not unusual at the time of death for other issues to come to the surface because people have these relationships with each other that bubble to the surface once the matriarch, in this case, of the family has passed on. We don't usually settle them with a knife, but be prepared.
That's a tough one. That's really a tough one because you have adults and this person is part of your blood who's probably going to be around.
Out. I'm so sorry. Get out!
If it's going to cause people to be fighting and pulling out knives and you see you have younger children there, witnessing all that, I just think separation would probably be better for that family and heal later.
Uncle Pete, you all right?
Without naming your executor and making a will, then I would have to decide amongst this confusion. And in this case, if they came before me, of course not without the knife, but with all this emotion, I probably would assign it to a neutral person, which is another attorney, which is going to cost your estate more money.
Look at all this money.
Now see, Uncle Pete had a treasure chest of monies. That's where Big Mama stored the money. I love the movies, but we cannot depend on a windfall of money to come in and suddenly save us. Let's try planning first, and if a windfall comes, then we'll just be blessed by that additional happening.
So, for a happy ending? Well, one of the things we need to talk about is leaving money, cash money in the mattress. Big Mama didn't tell anybody that she left that money, and it would be to her advantage to have let people know that that money was there.
Now I understand what soul food was all about. See, during slavery, us black folks didn't have a whole lot to celebrate. So cooking became the way we expressed our love for one another. And that's what those Sunday dinners meant to us. More than just eating, it was a time for sharing our joys and sorrows.
That's the wonderful thing about the movies. Everyone came back together. But the thing that I would tell you is that the kinds of fights that happen around death and what to do after death, typically families don't come back from those. Whether you literally or figuratively screw the family, you definitely will find yourself on the outside of family going forward.
Things got better for my family after that. And even though Miles and Aunt Terry broke up, it doesn't stop Miles from coming around every now and then and fill his belly with Mama's soul food. And as you can see, we didn't sell a big house. No way, no how.
The family eventually took care of that, handled the business, and they kept the home and they preserved the generational wealth and passed it down. This is what estate planning is all about. Apparently in Soul Food, they must have negotiated that. We'll never know if they did or not, but it was a happy ending. We want you to have the happy ending. And that happy ending is making a will.
The only thing I would also say about this is that, it's important to pick your executor to make sure that they have the same vision that you do. Terry had one vision, and obviously Big Mama had another. And you could see the fruition of Big Mama's vision, but if not for a box of money, there's another vision that takes place. And maybe Pete is in the nursing home, and maybe that house is sold, and maybe that family isn't the family that they used to be.
So you might not want to talk about estate plannings during Sunday dinner. We recommend that you hold the conversation with whoever you're going to leave your executive of your will with your attorney. As you can see with the fighting that happened and the emotions, is you may want to have a separate meeting with whoever you decide to want to be the executor. And then you may want to also let your family know that I did leave a will, and you will see the contents of the will once I die. In the case that the executor may be someone that is outside the family, make sure that your family knows that that's where your will is.
But you need to remember that if you sue your brother or you sue your sister, you will never speak to them again. That's the likelihood. Life will change. So really think about what you do when you decide not to leave a will. You not only make it difficult financially, you make it difficult for families to proceed to the future together.
After Big Mama died, they would bring the will to our office. They would make an appointment. Right now, we're, because of the pandemic, we're taking appointments only. If you come into our office with a will and our clerks validate the will, you are in and out of our office in 1 hour. On the next episode of How the Registrar Reacts, we're going to watch King Robert write a will on his deathbed.